Okay, hello. Welcome to my video on Verdance. Excuse all the umming and ahhing. I have not written a script because that felt like effort. I just wanted to walk people through what I'm playing right now because a few people have kind of asked me. So this is the current Verdant build I've been playing with. It's fairly standard in places, I think, but it's maybe got a couple of little bits and pieces that people aren't quite looking at. Pretty standard equipment of Bactry, Plume, Stonewall, Striders, and Sergeant Evertide. I will just nip down to the inventory. It's got Constellas and Metacarpus as alternative equipment. Metacarpus, obviously, for Into Wizards. Also played into some of the Runeblade matches, depending. And also played into anything very slow. So played into Yal, for example, because you just don't need Storm Wall. It blocks for one. Metacarpus by comparison can kill a person because it can be 2 to 3 damage. It's also harder to break, which matters a tiny bit. Um, Plume pretty much every time because of the build. I think Crown of Sync would be fine as well, to be honest. But I don't actually have one, and I can't be bothered to buy one because Plume does its job very, very well for the deck. I don't think I need to discuss Storm Striders. Storm Striders does often 4 damage, but it's often the 4 damage that kills people. Absolutely bested slot. Um, so, yeah, a lot of this is cookie cutter. I am running H-Pots because I think any matchup where you are not absolutely getting smashed by aggro, it is a good strategy. It's not necessarily for full comboing people. It's the fact that it turns rampant into something intrinsically dangerous. It's the same reason that there are 6 Fruits of the Forest. Because the deck is trying to play off the fact that rampant can be very, very dangerous. You leak slightly more damage having those yellow fruits in. Yellow rather than red because we have the Evertide, which you can play for 2. We have Plough Under, which you can pay for 2. You can do the Pulsing Ether with a life very occasionally. It's not doesn't come up much, but occasionally. Pitching for 2 is just much, much better than pitching for 1. It keeps the red count down just a little bit because the deck is redder than I like as a defensive player. So sort of starting from the top left here, we have Ether Flare because we're doing the Ether Flare snapback combo. If you are doing full combo, multiple copies of Ether Flare and snapback in different colours is good, but more at the point, if you are focusing on the Ether Flare for the kill, a lot of people will run the blue snapbacks because they pitch better and because you are not playing them unless you have a lethal Ether Flare. This deck build is not actually trying to do that, which is why it's on red snapback still. Snapback and Ether Flare both satisfy the condition of pitch a blue, Ether Tide, follow up with a damaging threat. If the game needs it, you will combo out with it. If the game doesn't need it, you do just need things with more damage to actually get people down. So, in terms of actually dropping a player through an amount of Arcane Barrier, you've got your Channel Millennium Trees, you've got your Ether Flares, your Snapbacks, and obviously the blues are not too bad under Millennium Tree. But these give obviously quite a big punch because you can be going in for sort of 7 or so with them. It is important because there's actually a substantial difference between 7 damage and 4 or 5 damage. Just because you can, if you've got AB2, you come in with an Ether Tide, you make it 2. You come in with an Ether Rack, you make it 1, and it's 1 damage. Whereas you're still getting 3 or so through with your flares and your snapbacks and with your pulsing ethers. So, they actually do an amount of work in chipping people down as you go. And, classically, you only actually need one ether flare and snapback to finish. I will happily play snapbacks as I go, assuming someone can't just arcane barrier the whole thing. After that, it's basically, as you'd imagine, there's fellings in here, there's plows, it's doing the standard, there's mind warp plow felling, and destructive ether tide to get you, get people disrupted, basically. What else is in here? You say a lot of it's really standard. Summer's Fold because it's good and it's blue. Heartbeat is mandatory. Tome of Harvest, slightly weird pick maybe. I like them because you can just arsenal random spare crap if you have Tome, and then one, bait with it to some degree, because people will often go in to destroy the thing in your arsenal, assuming that you're hiding rampants there. So you can just arsenal not particularly useful stuff, and then you can term it if they don't blow it up. The other thing is there's not that many good choices. I do like, I always forget the name, sorry, So Tomorrow's. There may be piles of storage for things for the deck, so I can put them in and out. I do like So. I just find that I never have time to play it. I will go back to testing it again, but very much my problem at the moment is like the majority of games I'm sat there going, I don't want to spend one on it. Like, it's really good in Arsenal, it draws a new card, that can be great, but the amount of times I sat there going, I wish this was just, damage. The terms often get just blocked with as well. They're a blue pitch, they're earth, they satisfy a lot of the criteria, but they do come in a pinch sometimes and just cycle kind of naff hands. I've had it where I've blocked down to 2 blues left in hand because of the nature of what's left in my hand, and then just term cycled for a new 3 cards and found something a bit better. It fills up the graveyard as it goes because it'll put at least 1 earth card in. All pretty much as you go. So where this, as I say, differs slightly from, I think, other people's builds is this life gain part. So it's obviously got the healing potions. Because it's got the 6 fruits and the 3 sigils, it's got really good odds of being able to stack up a rampant very quickly with about 4 life gain, which is the number where I am happy to play a rampant. If you do a rampant for 4 or 5 off, a fruits and a potion or a sigil and a potion or a sigil and a fruit, whichever combination you've got, you are banging it in for 5, and then you are doing a what we're on 6 damage ether tide, which it's likely to hit for 4, right? On a standard game, I think most people AB2. So you're going in for 4, and then you're going in for a flare for another 5. So you're getting 9 damage in, and they're losing 2 cards from their hand if they want to absorb it all. So you're probably getting 10 damage in 1 card. 10 damage turn is a good turn. I am willing to burn rampants and things for it because you can always get a plume for the last one when you are not comboing people. I'd say I find the extra sources of life gain just very, very helpful for that. They also create very annoying chip into mid-range matchups, so they give you a little bit more into new. They give you a little bit more into. They give you more into Yal, but you don't need it into Yal, and he's going to be arcane barring everything, so less of a problem there. But new and other assassins who are playing a very mid-range strategy are quite good. The last thing really is there's a couple of infantry things. So honestly, this channel goes in nearly every game. I am probably going to just move it into the main board because I constantly add it. In fact, hang on. Where are you? There you go. Go into the main deck. There were times where I was entertaining only playing 2 against some of the more aggressive decks, but it blocks for 4 a lot of the time, so it's still just worth running in my opinion. Red Summer's Falls because they are a 6 block and because they do stuff to disrupt some of the rune blades. Scours for um, this pretty much. I also have energy potions to join the healing potions. So when you get a very slow matchup, which is your mirrors, your Jarls, news, to be honest, I tend to run them into new. I board at least 2 of these in, often all 3, and just play a game of setup. Because at some point you will have like 2 healing potions, 2 energy potions, and you will draw a rampant and you will just win, and there is nothing they can do about it. Same reason I've got 1 edict. There is space for an edict, and it can just completely end the game because you need a little bit of knowledge about what they're playing. But if they've got damage prevention and you say no to it, they just die. It doesn't use a card from your hand. The best kind of thing for the comboing. 1 Thought Lightning because there is a slot left. That is genuinely why I rarely bring it in. But again, if you're playing a really slow game, might well be worth it. I tend to throw it in for new because it's just got that extra bit of punch you need right at the end if you are, going for the long, slow combo kill. And a yellow root bound. So that is purely that I felt I did not quite have enough decompose when I am just blocking all day. So if someone's been very, very aggressive and you're just blocking, you get lots of earth into the graveyard and very few ways to get rid of it because you don't have time to, you don't want to play a bad felling, you don't want to play a bad plough. You always want to root bound first, right, and get your first banish off. So 2 earth cards to a root bound, and then another 2 or 3 to one of your attacks, and then it's a big attack and doing something. I just found that having 4 felt like the right amount of percentage. You just hit it. You hit it 33% more, right? It's helpful. I think that covers nearly everything. The Constellas, there's not much to describe in that really, but it's just again like it's another way to get your combo off by treating them like an energy potion. You've obviously got to be playing into a matchup that's actually going to do you arcane, but I found them very, very helpful into some of the slow decks. They don't hurt into wizard because it's more arcane barrier. It puts you on 4, and you want 4, in my opinion. But it brings you up on just that interesting thing where if you're playing into, I want to say primarily Florian, you just eat some rune chants here and there with them, and it just makes your combo easier because you've got an extra 2 mana to combo with, which means you can kill him way more efficiently off a hand because you don't need 2 blue pitchers. But yeah, that is the deck. I will try and record playing a couple of games of this later. If you do have any questions, you presumably found this on Discord, send me a Discord message. Hopefully that's slightly informative. Bye-bye.